Good morning, everybody. It has been a long time. I got a cat on my lap, which means I don't play too many games these days because it's difficult to play with a keyboard. And she's on my lap and just putting her claws into the blanket. I woke up this morning and I've been thinking about this, and it's like 11:07 a.m., so I really slept in, so I've had a lot of sleep. And I decided to ask one question, and as far as what is possible. So I was looking at my, um, I've played a lot of games. Obviously, Railroader was the last. I haven't played Railroader in a bit, mainly because of this cat, who likes attention, and I don't have room for my keyboard. I do have plus, there's only so much you can do with anything really, and Railroader, you know, it's great. I love great. I love it. I think it's. I mean, I can't say anything wrong with it, except that you can only do so much with it until it becomes kind of repetitive. I think that's true for anything. But I wanted to take you guys along on something that I just did, just as theory. And we're dealing with Run8 Train Simulator. For, I don't know, years I've been always suggesting different improvements. And whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, or whatever the case may be, I was sitting here petting the cat, getting ready for another weekend, and I looked at a rail driver that's been sitting on my shelf now for probably 1 to 2 years, I would say. I forget the last time I ran Run8, to be honest. I think it was Pittsburgh or something like that. No. I ran that other California, that Northern California territory, whatever the hell that is. Um, can't think of the name off of me, but that's okay. And this is what I did while looking at that this morning. I thought, they talk about AI a lot, and I thought, let me explore this. So how about we explore this together? I asked a simple question to Grok. Can you help me create an AI clone for Run8 Train Simulator? Now, I should have said version 3. I didn't. But let's let's assume whatever the case may be, we can do this. Grok had a lot to say. Gone through 23 web pages. I don't know what that means. I guess that's the 23 web pages that it focused. And it was, I don't know if it makes up stuff or it sounds like it doesn't, but it was very interesting. So I'll read this along with you guys so that we're all on the same page. So creating an AI clone, quote, so that was what I put, for Run8 Train Simulator could mean a few different things, so I wasn't specific enough. Depending on your goal. Since Run8 is a highly detailed train simulator game with a focus on realistic physics and operations, I'll assume you're asking help in either enhancing the existing AI, which I'm not, within the game. Example, improving AI train behavior. I think the AI behavior is itself just fine. Or creating a standalone AI system that mimics Run8's functionality. Given that I can't directly modify the game's code or create software from scratch, I'll interpret this as a request to design a conceptual framework for an AI system that could theoretically integrate with or replace or replicate aspects of Run8's simulation. If you meant something different, like modding the game or generating an AI-driven scenario, please clarify. Here's a step-by-step conceptual approach to design the AI system that could enhance to mimic Run8 Train Simulator's behavior. Okay. As a custom AI-driven simulator. I don't think I want to go that far. Improve the existing AI train, better scheduling, realistic decision making. That's interesting. Create an AI that generates realistic train scenarios for use with Run8. That's interesting too. You want to enhance in. Okay, so I'm going to. It's going it's going on its own thing, and then it's this is kind of. Run8 doesn't openly support modding, so you need a reverse engineer file formats or use external tools. Check legal terms. No, it doesn't. Use Python with libraries for basic control or explore game memory hacking if you have it. If you're advanced, then it's permitted. See, it's being legal. Look at you see, it talks about auto and everything. Ah, well, that's cool. I'm not okay. So I have basic to intermediate programming experience. I would like to be able to mimic clients that join a server if that is possible. The clients would then perform AI tasks such as switching a consist in Run8 Train Simulator version 3. This is the first time I've really done a deep dive with AI. But, okay. Now, look at all the code it's helping me write. Now, of course, it's doing theoretical calculations here. So, let's continue to read this here. Given your basic to intermediate programming experience and your goals of mimicking clients that join a Run8 Train Simulator version 3 server to perform AI tasks like switching a consist, this is an ambitious but feasible project with some caveats. Run8 version 3 is a closed source simulator focused on realistic railroad operations, and while it has built-in AI, see, it's going into that AI thing again. Example, auto and multiplayer functionality, it doesn't natively expose an API for creating custom AI clients. True. So what that's saying, just to give you guys the mimble for that, I've looked at this before. I've kind of looked at trying to get into being a client. Legally, of course. I don't want to hack the program. I don't want to reverse engineer the program. I don't want to do anything that's going to piss these guys off, because they've been pissed off with me over the years enough as it is. All I want to do is get the results I want and possibly help push Run8 forward, if that's possible. I know they're doing a pretty good job. I hear new guys all the time getting Run8, which is, it's good. I'm not jealous of that. I'm happy for them. I really am. But for me, Run8 is useless to me, as is. It just doesn't. It doesn't satisfy my personal needs, which is why I haven't run it in 2 years. So. But anyways, however, with your skill level, we can explore a practical approach using external tools and scripting to simulate client. Okay. So, however, with your skill level, we can explore a practical approach using external tools and scripting to simulate client-like behavior. Here's how you can tackle this step by step. Yes. Perform tasks like switching a concept as coupling, uncoupling, and moving them to specific tracks. Yes. Constraints. No official API. That's the problem. And this is the one thing that has always it has. So there is no official API. Run8 doesn't provide a public SDK or API for direct control, so you'll need to work around this. Okay. Multiplayer mechanics. Run8 client server module requires each player or client to run an instance of the game. Okay, Run8's client server. So what that's saying is you have to have an instance of Run8, which is difficult, because if you're trying to have a big territory and you are trying to have it so that, let's say, there's 5 yards being switched by AI at a time, you guys know what it's like, or at least what it used to be like when the hump was running, or you have a lot of AIs. It actually takes a lot of processing out of the system. At least it did in version 2. Version 3, I haven't pushed it too hard. I played it for some time, but I didn't really push running a bunch of humps, because I tried to stay within selected regions. So I never really pushed it. I don't know if a big server like Depot server that would connect everything and have enough people running would actually bog down the server. I'm not sure. I don't have the answer to that, nor do I have the communications of being a part of Depot server and asking this kind of stuff. And to be quite fair, as much as I'm having serious, mature, and not trying to compete against these servers, which I'm not. Unfortunately, Depot server is one of the better forums for go-to, and even has the stuff with the various people, so blah blah blah. I'm not really welcome there. I can tell you that right now. For whatever reason, there's certain people that have it in for me, so whatever. Run8 client service model requires each player or client to run an instance of the game, as I said. Authenticate and interact via the game's UI or controls. Closed source. You can't modify the game's core logic directly, limiting you to external automation or reverse engineering. Okay. Yeah, so your skill level. With basically mirror program example, familiar with Python loops, you'll need tools that simplify interaction with the game. Given that mimicking clients fully, example, running multiple game instances with AI logic might be complex, but you can simulate AI behavior by controlling a single client externally or leveraging in-game features. See, I'm not going to buy 20 copies of Run8. And I don't have the computers to be able to mimic it. I would love to, but that gets costly, just for the sake of the server and to make things realistic. I'm not buying a computer and hooking it up to a network, and I mean that's what I think we're coming to right now. So there are people who have tried to reverse engineer Run8 in the past. Are probably still doing it, I imagine, because if I'm not mistaken, isn't there mods for Run8? I think there is, if I recall. Conceptual. Since running multiple full game instances of AI requires significant resources. See, I'm already, as a programmer and somebody who understands how computers work, I already know this. But they're kind of, and this is why I never really pushed too hard for it. But I figured this morning I'm gonna theorize with an AI like Grok, who's very, very powerful, I might add. This is very enlightening. AI requires significant resources, multiple PCs or virtual machines. Ouch. And advanced networking hacks beyond intermediate level. A more practical approach for you skill level is to control one client. Use a single instance of Run8 and script AI behavior via external tools. Yeah, see, having it controlling one client is only going to get you so far, because for the size of some of these regions, there are more than one person switching at a time. Like, for example, if I was to let's just take a simple thing such as Barstow. Okay, let's just start with the basics. Let's start with Barstow. Let's start with the basic route. We won't even go into the other routes. We're gonna do Barstow. Okay. Barstow already has an AI hump. Once that AI hump is finished, we could use a single instance of Run8 and script AI to trim the bull while we go do something else. In order to do that, you're now into a second instance. So you're using that instance to basically do what's happening in Railroader, where you're basically watching it switch. Not the end of the world. It's kind of neat. Maybe it's relaxing. I don't know. It's an improvement to be able to do stuff like what Railroader does, where you put the little arrow thingies and blah blah blah. Mimicking switching. Automate the process of switching a context. Example, moving a train, uncoupling cars. Mimicking switching tasks. Automate the process of switching a context. Example, moving a train, uncoupling cars, throwing switches using pre-defined steps. Server integration. Join a multiplayer server manually. Then let your script take over to simulate an AI client. Now this one's interesting. This one is very interesting. What that does, theoretically, okay, I here's a theory, guys. Here's a theory. All right, I'm on to something now. I'm on to something. I just realized I'm on to something. What if, hear me out on this one. What if I was to run a server? Now, I gotta think about this one for a second. Let's use the base routes, because I can't get into expansion. I just can't. Until Run8 allows this to happen, I can only do so much. But at least I can do something. We want a 24/7 server. We want to get back into having a 24/7 server, which right now with my situation sucks, but I know there's some people out there that might be willing to help me with this. So, we want to have a 24/7 server. And even if... Yeah, okay. This needs some more investigation, and I think I might look into this. So, what I'm thinking, at least from Barstow, is to create Barstow, or even we can go even we put it this way, we can go even so far and do Waycross. I can create Waycross and have it operate 24/7. Possibly. And I may just try it. Because I'm a friggin' nut. All right. Okay. For detecting or sending key events. For timing actions, it goes date believe commands. One licensed copy of Run8 version 3 running on your PC connected to a server. Anybody want to run a server for me? So what I'm proposing, guys, is this. If somebody wants to be my server, who runs 24/7, I can see about programming an AI client that would make sure your yard at Waycross is continuously humped, because we would start the hump. Hump and trim is separate. It can use the same instance, because what happens is you start doing the humping. It'll do the humping. It'll do the trimming. It'll do everything under one instance. A client that has AI tools far superior than what Run8 has. Because Run8's got great AI tools. It's great for running trains in between. That's already built into the punch. And this is something which my skill level is capable of. When I say basic to intermediate, what happens with me is when I try to get into programming graphic level stuff, I always get how would you say? I always get to a point where I'm discouraged because I can't get that far. I mean, I can't get into it because it's not as good as what I've had it. I want the good old days, what it was 2 years ago, except I'm at this roadblock because Run8's code can only do so much for me. This is why I don't run Run8. I would love to run Run8. Familiar with Run8's controls, I know all that shit. And the user interface layout, I know all that. Optional, more memory reading, tools like to read game state, yes, train position, switch state, though this requires reverse engineering and is riskier legal gray. Here's a yeah. Okay. I will talk to the guys on this one. Number one, I'm going to do this for my own personal use, which means I can do it for my own personal use and not sell it or give it away until I get permission from Run8. I will demonstrate the feasibility of this. I will keep my computer on 24/7 with a server. That's funny. I got to find a way to keep my server so that it keeps going on back on, Custom input to Run8 supports custom input per update notes, but this needs deeper knowledge of its protocol. Yeah. Install Python, install libraries. Join a multiplayer server manually and position your train near a switching yard. I'm sorry. You see how logically minded I am? Because he's already thinking of the same thing. He's talking about Barstow, which is fine. Barstow's a good start. Yes. See? The graphic user interface, import time. Run the script. Where does it say, let's give it a try? Oh, AI is so powerful. Continue this conversation at a later time once I've developed it. Okay, that's okay. I don't need to, because then I can go. I can go back to Grok 3 and I won't sign up for that right now. I've only asked it. I literally only asked this thing like 3 or 4 questions. Look at this shit. Oh. Okay, guys. That makes me very ambitious. I like to bang my head against the wall. I really do. So. And the best part is the cat can stay on my lap. Now, it means I can't play, but I can certainly fly around and enjoy, because it's mimicking the controls, I believe, and I can go fly and watch it. I can watch it do its thing, basically, at any time of the day, blah, blah, blah. Well, there might be a future in Run8 yet. That's all for now, guys. I gotta get ready for the day and do things that I can actually do right now. We'll talk to you later.